Hi,
Hi.
I have a question. How to speak in a foreign language?
How to speak in a foreign language?
Yeah, why I ask this question? Because many people have told me that they have learned English for 10 years. Once time I was told a person learned German for 19 years and they still cannot say much. So what's the problem? And what can they do
I think
to improve it?
Yeah, I think they have learned language like English or German for more than 10 years. Generally, they have enough knowledge about this language, like vocabulary, grammar.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think they already know a lot about this language, but they said they cannot speak it, right?
Yes.
So the question is not about knowledge, generally, right? Do you think so?
Depends. Some people they just learn 1 minute a year and they say I learned for 10 years. They also don't have the knowledge. They don't have any words in their mind. But some people they have these words when they hear they recognize them, when they read they understand, but they cannot speak well.
Okay. So two kinds of people. One kind of people maybe they learned a lot of knowledge, but they didn't really understand it well. So in their mind it's blank, right? Like they cannot use it.
Something like that.
Yeah. But another kind of type, they know it well. Maybe when they write, they can express themselves well.
Mm-hmm.
But when they speak, they cannot. Right?
Something like that.
Okay. In this case, I got many students like that. They often came to me and said, "Oh, I don't know how to say. My English is so poor." Yeah, it's like. Then I try to figure out how poor it is. How poor their English is, and then and from there I ask them some question like, what's their job, what's their hobby, like how frequently they use English. Yeah, if they can express their idea so clearly,
And then?
understand me or not. And then I can divide these people in two groups. Like one group is really they learned but they don't understand well. Another group they understand well but they don't know how to use it correctly, like in spoken part. So I think it's about in this case the first part maybe it's about they don't combine the knowledge with their life, with themselves.
So their knowledge doesn't become their ability, right?
Yeah, it's like generally language is a tool, but they know all the knowledge about this tool, but they don't understand it well. They didn't use it, or they didn't touch maybe, and then they didn't understand well. Just like a theory, like in theory, they know a little bit. Yeah, maybe they understand some conception of this, but they cannot combine them with themselves. Combine this knowledge with.
Okay.
Yeah. So just in this case, I will try to make them combine these two stuff. Yeah, through talking, through daily life, like through some materials that they really interested.
Okay, but I think I'm in the second group in Italian language. When I hear it, I understand a lot. But when I need to speak, I often forget the words. I don't know how to put it exactly and so on.
You are different from the second group, maybe. Because,
Thank you.
Yeah, because you are just learned this language very short time. Just maybe not really learn. You just listen, right?
Listening is real learning.
Yeah, I mean you don't learn it like the grammar, the
No,
words.
I mean I really learn it. I listen to it.
Yeah,
Listening is real learning. Grammar, words is not real learning.
You didn't learn that way, traditional way. You learn like by listening, by understanding. So it's the first step. You are learning it. So don't worry about like so fast. You should like speak it.
Yeah,
The first
generally
step.
I don't worry about this.
Yeah, I think your level is there. It's like beginner, so don't worry. You can listen more, understand more,
No,
and
if
naturally.
I already understand more than beginner would understand.
Yeah.
I
So
also understand like TV, for example. I watch TV, I understand everything.
so just try to use it more, like talk with your friend, or express something more frequent with the others. Because after understanding, you try to express yourself. This
Yeah.
is the second step. So imitate the others, how they express this situation. When you talk with people, the people will explain something to you, and you get it, and you give them feedback, right, or reaction, and then they will also interact with each other. Like naturally, you will get it, like you know how to speak. This, I think, your way is more natural, easier. But another group, I said that the second group is like they already learned 10 years. It's not a short time, like you, just 1 month, 2 months. Like they have learned 10 years, but they cannot use it in their, like when they encountered the others or talk with the others. So this case is much different with yours.
What's the difference?
They have all the knowledges, language, knowledge about the grammar, the words. Like they know quite a lot. They even pass the exam quite good. But when they talk with people, they are so nervous. First thing, maybe very nervous.
Too nervous. Okay.
Yeah, too nervous. They forget about everything. It's like the mind.
It goes blank.
Yeah, it goes blank. So in that case, like maybe it's not get used to talk with people in this language. Yeah, so this maybe is first like a feeling about the language feeling. I think it's too nervous. When you're too nervous, even for example, you face your teacher, they test you. Of course, you get so nervous. You are not so familiar with this language first, and then you should face the judgment. And very vital judgment. You think, it related to your future. Of course, you cannot.
Why is it related to your future?
For example, you should go abroad to study. You should pass this, spoken part exam. Yeah, of course you get lost, easily. So, and for this kind of people, I think. Yeah, you just try to adjust yourself, like relax, like focus the topic, focus the conversation. Yeah, and before that, practice more, like you get used to talk at random with people, all the topics, any topic.
You know what changed this situation for me personally? Is one idea is that you should express just 80% of your meaning. Because when people, it even happens in their native languages, some people have a huge vocabulary, they can express something in great detail, so they try to get to 100% when they talk to people on the street, and people just don't understand this kind of words. They don't know what they're talking about because they get too complex. So for me the idea was that I just express 80% or less of my meaning, and that is enough.
The main meaning, right?
For me magic number was 80% because 50% is too vague, like it's like yes or no, like whatever. But 80% is mostly what you want to describe, and it's like it's close to 100%, but it's easy for people to understand even though it's not 100%. And this way generally you will use much less like weird vocabulary. If you want to express your heart, your soul, your mind 100%, you will get to in some territory of craziness. It's not like people just don't expect to hear something like this, so they will not be able to understand you.
Yeah, I think this is a very typical problem about when you speak, because even the mother tongue, when they talk with people, they cannot express themselves well. It's no matter what language it is.
Some people doesn't only happen to people who learn a foreign language, it also happens to people in academia.
Yeah.
When they discuss some academic ideas all day long. I cannot speak when I talk about academia. And then they just cannot talk to a taxi driver.
Yeah.
Or a plumber or
Yes. It's like
to
that.
working class people. They just
nerd.
Yeah, too nerdy. So don't be a nerd.
Yeah.
You can be a nerd, it's okay, but don't be a nerd 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Just be a nerd 80% of the time, but 20% of the time when you go out and talk with people, just express your 80% of the meaning.
Yeah, it's about communication.
And you will be happy.
Yeah, it's about communication with people, because you just focus on study. You don't know how to talk normally in life. It becomes like a nerd.
Yeah, and I found Chinese people, oftentimes they, not only Chinese, generally Asian people, because they have this kind of study hard culture. So when they encounter some kind of foreigner, especially an English teacher, but any native speaker is okay, they try to use as weird, as complicated, as professional, as academic, whatever they call it, vocabulary. And some people who arrive from America to China, they just don't understand. Because they don't say something normal like turn off the light, they will say explain the whole electricity chain, stuff like that.
You know why it happened? Many students told me the IELTS test, generally they have some standard, you should use some professional words.
That's true.
You should use some a long word.
Kinda true.
Yeah, and you should use the grammar properly. Right? Yeah, they have some standard.
I think here's the problem. It's hard to use very complicated words and grammar and proper grammar together. So when they go and try to use some words that are too complicated for them, generally they get grammar wrong.
Yeah.
And for using these words, they get fewer points because they make a grammar mistake for that IELTS. And so for that reason, it's better to use something more simple, but that you can use for sure. And you can use something complicated that you also know for sure when it comes to the exam, like IELTS or TOEFL, where they check your correctness a lot, your accuracy.
Yeah.
Then it's better to use what you're really sure about, and that it doesn't become one more extra mistake.
But, I think the students should forget about this kind of standard first. Because if
Forget about it.
Yeah, forget about this test first. You should know how to speak first. It's normally, the very high-level guy, when they speak, give a lecture to all the people, generally they use very simple words, right? Yeah. They never use academic words, long words, or complicated, a pattern of the phrase. They never use it. They just explain it very simple. Even the guy, they never study it. They can get it very easily. That is the high level guy.
When they talk to the general public, they
they explain very professional stuff, but they can use very simple way to make everyone understand it. That is high level. So if you really want to pass some exam or show you are very good at something, you just focus how to make this complicated topic or some topic, make it less complicated, more, but very important is clear. You can express your idea quite clear, but simple way. That is the very good one.
So the way to speak easier in a foreign language is to speak more clear and more simple and more clear.
Yeah, I think the very good quality about talking, about communicating is first very clear. You can make people understand.
Okay.
Yeah, what's your idea?
Makes sense.
Yeah, the first thing, you should have very clean idea, not confused.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very, very important, clear. And the second, make everybody can understand you easily. So try to avoid some complicated stuff, complicated pattern,
I think
vocabulary or something.
here sometimes it's useful to show off a little bit that your vocabulary is really cool. And for this situation, when you really want to show off,
yeah,
I have a strategy.
Yeah, but but this moment is later. It's later when you can say something very easily.
But you can say something very complicated, and that people who don't understand this word, they still understand you. So I just suggest to throw a net, and if you use some complicated word, then you can use 2 or 3 similar words together, or in the next sentence that it will kind of explain this complicated word with 2 or 3, or I don't know, 1 easy word. Then people who really want to hear that complicated vocabulary, they will hear that.
Okay.
And people who want to hear something simple and easy to understand, they will also get that and understand that word as well.
Okay.
So it's like a net.
Good strategy.
Yeah.
Okay. You like looks very professional. You use some.
I throw a net.
Yeah, but
try to catch everyone.
Yeah, but you can explain it in a very simple way, so everybody can get you.
Yeah,
easily.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Good idea. Yeah. So
even if you want to say something complicated, still use simple stuff, simple words.
Yeah.
Or just use simple words without complicated stuff. But in any way, you should have simple stuff. Without simple words, it doesn't work.
Yeah. Good.
Anything else?
Yeah, I think that's all.
Okay.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ciao, ciao.